Hey, good morning everybody. I'm Robert Arrington, this is Deer Meat for Dinner, and I'm at Fort Pierce Inlet on the south side. Got up this morning, came up here looking for snook and tarpon. Saw a million. Unfortunately, I didn't catch anything. So I'm gonna head back to the house now, pick up Aria, and we're gonna go spend the day out on the ranch, cutting swamp cabbage and making a seafood swamp cabbage stew. What's going on, everybody? I'm Robert Arrington. You're watching Deer Meat for Dinner. Welcome to the ranch. This is my swamp buggy. Here in Florida, there's so many swamps and marshes. You need something big, with big wheels and high elevation so you can see and get through the mud. And you need a chainsaw. All right, you guys, so here we go. This big bushy palm tree is called a sable palm. Down here in South Florida, we call it a cabbage palm. Way back in the day, my family would be considered crackers, Florida crackers. They came down here in the late 1800s on my mom's side, and as cow hunters, just poor white folks, cow hunting, working for big land barons, hunting cows out here in this thick terrain. The first herd of wild cattle ever in the Americas was brought here by Ponce de Leon, I think back in the 1500s. And he got ambushed by Indians over there in Port Charlotte, jumped in his boat, and went to Cuba. He actually died in Cuba from an arrow wound from an Indian. But they left about 500 Andalusian cattle and horses here. Well, those horses and cows populated and became wild cows. We called them cracker cows. Whenever all the cow hunters came down, they lived on swamp cabbage. They would cut the hearts out of these palm trees, called it swamp cabbage. They would stew it with tomatoes and basically any kind of wild meat they could find. Frog legs, gator tail, wild hog, deer meat, turkey, coon, soft-shelled turtle, you name it. And they would just stew it all down, and they lived. And as it became a more ritzy metropolitan food, they started calling it hearts of palm, because swamp cabbage just wasn't a big selling point. So just like my grandpa taught me, I'm teaching my little girl Aria what swamp cabbage is all about. So this is the first part. You have to trim your tree out. You always leave a few branches on top so you have something to pull on to pull it over. The heart is about right here to right there. Now I'll take my chainsaw, cut it off, show you the rest. This will pull right over. Whew. So now you can see, that's the thick, sturdy, fibrous part of the tree that makes it so sturdy. I mean, these things can stand up to any hurricane. Inside, that's the heart. She'll peel right out just like that. There you go. Now I'll show you guys how we cook this sucker. Mama, what you doing, boy? So now, let's get to work. That's the boot right there. This is what goes out and makes one of the palm branches. So go to the opposite side of it and cut it right down, just like that. And you'll roll that boot right off. Aria, come this way, honey. Now we're getting good, y'all. Now you can see what I'm working with. That right there, even though it's tender, it's called the bitter. That's part of the trunk of the tree. And you can see the color change right about there. That's where the heart starts. So let's cut off some of this bitter. And then I'll show you where the heart starts. You would never think a tree that can withstand a hurricane is so soft in the middle. We're almost, yeah, there's the start of the heart right there. Now you can see the rings. That's the actual heart of the tree. In your pot, you need to add some diced tomatoes. Now granted, my grandpa never had that offer or opportunity just to go to Publix and pick up some Del Monte diced basil, garlic, and oregano tomatoes. They had to mix it up themselves. They grew their own tomatoes and their own herbs. You need the tomatoes because the acid will keep your hearts of palm, your swamp cabbage, from turning brown. You'll start cutting, it'll be very tender. Snow white and tender, just like that. When you feel your knife starting to hang up, you know it's time to cut off one more boot. Now it should start getting real tender. Now we're really into the perfect part of this. Watch this. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Look how nice that is. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look how nice that is, y'all. Just big old fat. That's what I'm talking about. Just beautiful. These cabbages are perfectly sized for a meal. I mean, on this ranch, we probably have, I don't know how many thousand, but countless thousands of swamp cabbages. I could eat these swamp cabbages for the rest of my life out here and never need anything else. That's a blessing. This will turn into this. That's a small swamp cabbage growing up right there. Those will turn into these, just like that. All I need now is one more thing of tomatoes, just like that. Look at this. You could cook that with nothing in it, no meat, and it would still be delicious. But we're gonna doctor it up. Say subscribe now. So it's time to teach Aria and you how to junk up some swamp cabbage. In here we have our tomatoes, all of our cabbage, and I also added some baby bella mushrooms, and I've got it on like just a medium heat. We're gonna take some celery, throw it in there, and then one onion, throw it in there. We're gonna finish this sucker off with some Everglades, original Everglades. I mean, I honestly think this Everglades seasoning was designed for cabbage, because about, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, when they originally made this stuff, it was made down in LaBelle, and it was called monkey dust. And if you've ever been to LaBelle, that's like where the Swamp Cabbage Festival is, and I mean, you're born with swamp cabbage in your bottle there. So, and this stuff is so good with swamp cabbage, so we just let that start stewing away. Last but not least, that's about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, and we'll just fresh garlic, throw that in there. Give it a good mix. To really kick it up a notch, that's a blend of calamari, shrimp, clams, and octopus. All right? Dump it right in there. Now we're just gonna mix it all in. Now I think Aria's hungry, so I'm gonna feed her a little bit of food real quick. We're gonna go for a buggy ride. We're gonna come back and eat swamp cabbage. I wasn't even gonna show this, but you know, we really believe in raising our kids healthy, and her favorite snack in the whole world is raw corn. Take a cob of corn, peel it, and cut it off, and she'll start eating it. She loves it. I mean, if you look, that's a swamp cabbage, that's a swamp cabbage, that's a swamp cabbage. There's one growing, there's one growing. You look around here, there are millions of them, and they're all tasty. Well, we've gotten so hammered with rain. This is one of our food plots. When it gets really, really hot and really, really wet, what happens is the sun gets the water so hot that it scorches the seed and scorches the little plant. So you can see out there, some of the food plot is growing. Some of that lighter green stuff, that's on the higher sections where it's not getting so much moisture. Very important to always come out and ride your property. You know, you're looking for all kinds of signs. You're just looking for everything. What the game's doing, making sure you don't have poachers, you know, making sure nothing's broken or in bad shape, looking for new sign. That's where a hog's been wallowing in the road right there. Come on, team. I find that in the summer, when the mosquitoes are the worst, that's when the hogs roll in the mud the most. I just think the mud acts as a big protection from the bugs. I could be wrong, but that's my thought. Yeah. That is exactly what you're looking for. It's been stewing while we were out on the buggy. Look at that. Look at all that life. Now, we don't need to add anything else, but I want to. Look at all them shrimp. Oh, baby. Oop, lost one. Free jumper. We'll just let them fall in love right in there. Check this out. Look at this loving goodness, y'all. Look at that. That is a seafood swamp cabbage stew. You want some, don't you? Oh, I can't handle it. I gotta have some. A little bit of juice. As Bernard would say, a little bit gravy. Wow. Look at that, y'all. Homemade swamp cabbage stew with seafood. Wow. The flavor is amazing. It's got shrimp, clams, all the seafood, cabbage. Oh my goodness. And then the shrimps that we just added. A+++. I get a lot of comments and questions from people, why aren't you showing up in my notifications? The reason is there's a little bell just below the video, right near the description, there's a little bell. If you click on that bell, then every time I upload, you'll get a notification and you'll know when we upload. So I appreciate it very, very much. I love all you guys, and I really am enjoying this stew. But this is all I got for you. We gone.